A strange object has entered the inner solar system, survived a direct hit from a solar storm, and did something no known natural object has ever done. It accelerated without a visible propulsion source. It turned, defying gravity. And it glowed, bluer than the sun itself. This object is called 3I Atlas. It came from deep interstellar space. It dove toward our star. It should have evaporated, fragmented, or at least slowed down. Instead, it brightened by a factor of 5 and shifted to an unexplainably blue hue. More shockingly, on November 7th, Harvard astrophysicist Dr. Avi Loeb went on live television and said these words, "It maneuvered." Now, with December 19th, its closest approach to Earth and excite. Just weeks away, scientists around the globe are scrambling to understand what 3I Atlas really is, and whether we're about to witness something historic. Is it a comet, a metallic asteroid, or could it be something else? Stay with us, because what we're about to show you includes NASA's silence on key images, pressure from US Congress for disclosure, a possible link to the infamous WOW signal from 1977, and a countdown to a moment that may change what we believe about intelligent life in the universe. If you're fascinated by space mysteries, solar system anomalies, or extraterrestrial possibilities, hit that like button. Comment where you're watching from. Earth may not be the only observer right now. Let's rewind. The story begins in late September 2025. A relatively faint object enters the inner solar system on a hyperbolic trajectory, meaning it's not bound to the sun. It's an interstellar visitor. Astronomers initially catalogue it as 3I Atlas, the third interstellar object ever observed after Oumuamua 2017 and 2I Borisov 2019. Detection came from multiple sources: NASA's NEOWISE Infrared Observatory, the Virtual Telescope project in Italy, led by Dr. Gianluca Massi. Data from JPL Horizons confirms it. This thing is moving fast, over 150 kilometers per second, nearly 3 times the speed of the fastest rocket humans have built. Initial classification: a comet. Standard assumption: it will get brighter as it nears the sun, perhaps form a tail, maybe break apart. Business as usual. But by October 29, 2025, as it reaches perihelion, its closest point to the sun, the story starts to change, dramatically. Between November 6th and 9th, astronomers worldwide begin to panic. Telescopes in Chile, ESO Paranal; Hawaii, Subaru Telescope; Italy, Virtual Telescope. Harvard's Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics reports something unprecedented. The object's brightness increases 5-fold. Not just that, its color shifts into the blue region of the visible spectrum. Normally, as comets approach the sun, they brighten due to sublimation, volatile ices turning into gas. They also develop a tail, usually dusty, reflecting yellow-red hues. But 3I Atlas, no tail, no dust, no coma, no significant debris cloud. And the blue shift, it doesn't make sense. The sun's surface temperature is about 5800 Kelvin, and it emits a white-yellow light. 3I Atlas began emitting shorter wavelengths, bluer than expected for any natural body that isn't hotter than the sun. But spectral data shows it's not hotter. In fact, it's cooler. So why is it blue? NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, ESA, and private institutions begin comparing notes. Spectral analysis shows something else. The object's nickel-rich composition with unusually low iron content. Unlike any known comet, standard physics models can't account for this. By now, a few scientists begin to whisper, what if this isn't natural? Then comes November 7th, 2025. Dr. Avi Loeb, founder of the Galileo Project and longtime critic of mainstream astrophysics for ignoring anomalies, goes on Newsmax TV. What he says sends shockwaves. It maneuvered. He explains that the object showed non-gravitational acceleration, moving in a way that gravity alone can't explain. Let's break that down. Using data from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, it appears that 3I Atlas adjusted course subtly, gained speed without a visible thrust trail, maintained consistent orientation. No tumbling lobe calculates the force required. To cause that acceleration, it would need to eject 5 billion tons of mass in the opposite direction. Yet no outgassing or fragmentation is observed. He adds, "That's not just weird, that's intentional." Critics call it premature. NASA remains silent, but Loeb doubles down. He briefed Congress behind closed doors the very next day. Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C. Representative Anna Paulina Luna issues a public statement. "If we have high-resolution imagery from Mars, the American public deserves to see it." She's referring to NASA's high-rise camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which had a perfect view of 3I Atlas during its solar approach. But as of mid-November 2025, those images have not been released. Meanwhile, amateur astronomers using sky safari simulations, stellarium overlays, and even backyard telescopes begin noticing something else. 3I Atlas is not dimming like a typical comet would after perihelion. It's maintaining brightness, it's keeping the blue colour, and, according to some, it's wobbling. Could that be stabilisation? Or an optical illusion? No one knows. But theories begin spreading. Some scientists insist it's just an exotic comet. They cite jet activity, anisotropic mass ejection, outgassing of unknown volatiles. Fair arguments, but they can't explain the lack of tail, the nickel composition, or the blue shift. Others, like Loeb, argue we might be looking at a metallic interstellar probe, a fragmented spacecraft, or even a scientific instrument placed to study our star up close. More radical ideas appear in underground physics forums. It's a self-stabilizing, autonomous structure. It's using the sun to refuel, like a gravity slingshot. It's not alone. Watch for fragments. And then someone makes a chilling connection. The wow signal, the 1977 radio burst from space that we still can't explain, originated just 9 degrees from where 3I Atlas entered our system. Coincidence? Maybe, but maybe not. Mark this date. December 19th, 2025. That's when 3I Atlas makes its closest approach to Earth. It will pass at a distance of just over 6 million kilometres, close enough for radar imaging, high-resolution optical scans and infrared mapping. What could we see? Fragmentation. Like what happened to Comet Ison in 2013 New Jets, suggesting internal activity. Smaller objects, potentially deployed from the main body, nothing at all, if it's just a rock. But here's the twist. If it's truly a technological structure, then it might respond to observation. It might activate. Or it might vanish. Either way, December 19th is more than a flyby. It's the moment of truth. New spectral analysis from Italy and Hawaii. Real-time tracking using amateur and professional software. A closer look at the 7 mysterious jets coming from the object. Why its plane of the planet's trajectory may hint at intelligence. And a visual breakdown of what we might see if the object is engineered. Don't go anywhere. We are just beginning to unravel what may be the most mysterious visitor the solar system has ever received. Let's now focus on something that has stunned even the most skeptical scientists. The 7 visible jets emerging from the core of 3I Atlas. According to imagery from the Virtual Telescope project in Italy, combined with data overlays from the Subaru telescope in Hawaii, these jets are highly collimated, meaning they are sharply defined, not dispersed like typical comet tails, fixed in position relative to the object's body, not spiraling or chaotic, evenly distributed. 3 along one axis, 3 opposite, and 1 central. That symmetry is what raised eyebrows. Normally, if a comet vents gas, the jets are random, responding to subsurface pressure and sunlight. But these look intentional. Dr. Gianluca Massi, director of the Virtual Telescope project, notes, "These jets behave more like nozzles than natural eruptions. They don't drift, they don't precess, they pulse. And that brings us to an even deeper anomaly, spectral changes in the emitted light. Most comets release light as sunlight hits dust, gas, and vaporizing ice. In the case of 3I Atlas, spectroscopy reveals something altogether different. Data collected from ESO's Very Large Telescope, Chile, NASA's Infrared Telescope Facility, Hawaii, the Lowell Observatory, Arizona, shows high nickel concentrations, unusually low levels of iron, absence of water vapor. Why does that matter? Because comets are icy. They're supposed to contain carbon, silicates, water, methane, not industrial-grade metals. Nickel and iron are found in asteroids, yes, but not with these ratios. This particular nickel to iron imbalance has never been recorded in any known celestial object. Some researchers speculate this points to smelting or synthetic processes. Others say it's just a weird chunk of metal. But if that's true, why is it blue? Let's revisit this detail. Most stars emit colour based on their surface temperature. The Sun is around 5800 Kelvin, emitting white-yellow light. Bluer stars are hotter, sometimes 10,000 K or more. Colder objects glow red or infrared. But 3I Atlas, it's cooler than the Sun, but emits blue light. According to simulations from Caltech's Infrared Science Lab, the object's reflected light spectrum peaks in the blue-violet band and shows a flat albedo profile, meaning it's reflecting blue more efficiently, but not because of temperature. This suggests either a mirror-like surface engineered to deflect high-energy light or photoluminescent materials, which absorb energy and re-emit it as blue. Neither of those is natural for an object travelling between stars. If anything, it implies design. Let's pull back to the solar system view. Open your favourite simulation tool, SkyEye, Stellarium, or NASA Eyes. Imagine standing in front of a 3D solar map as the object enters. On screen, you'd see this: Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars forming a gentle arc, the ecliptic plane flat and familiar. And then, 3I Atlas gliding in on that very same plane. Coplanar with the planets. Why does this matter? Statistically, an interstellar object should enter at a random angle. That's what we saw with Oumuamua. Its steep trajectory was expected. But this, it's like 3I Atlas threaded a needle, entering at a shallow angle, within 2 Gaulies of the planetary plane. Perfectly timed to loop around the Sun and approach Earth from the inner track. Some call it a cosmic coincidence. Others call it navigation. Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, telescopes operated by the Galileo Project, an initiative led by Dr. Avi Loeb, are running 24/7 scans. They've locked onto the object since early November. Loeb's most recent internal notes, obtained by leaks and later verified, mention stabilized spin axis. Jet angular velocity does not correlate with solar input. No precessional drift over 11-day observation. Let's translate. A spinning natural object should wobble. This doesn't. If that's true, we might be looking at a stabilized body, like a drone holding position in flight. And if that's not surprising enough, there's more. Galileo Project sensors detected faint radio frequency interference, unmodulated, non-patterned, but persistent. Not a signal, but maybe background noise from active systems? December 3rd, 2025. Astronomers at ESA's solar orbiter notice a peculiar curve in the object's motion as it exits solar conjunction. The object doesn't spiral out. Instead, it performs what one analyst calls a fractal turn, a subtle nested arc, almost like a drone avoiding a bird or a satellite responding to solar wind bursts. Interestingly, this fractal path occurs right after a minor solar flare recorded by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory. Could the object have reacted? If so, it means autonomy. If not, the timing is the weirdest coincidence yet. Either way, the question grows louder. Why is no one officially talking about this? To date, NASA has issued no public statement regarding 3I Atlas beyond basic orbital tracking on the JPL Horizons database. But inside Capitol Hill, curiosity is rising. Multiple aides have confirmed that NASA Administrator Bill Nelson was quietly asked to brief the House Science Committee on November 15th. What's notable? The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's HiRISE team has not released its close pass images, despite the known alignment window in early November. Representative Anna Paulina Luna has now publicly joined the call for transparency. In her words, this may be the most significant non-Earth object ever observed. Why are we waiting for answers? Let's tally the evidence so far. An object with jets that don't behave like comet vents, no tail, despite proximity to the Sun, nickel-rich, iron-poor composition, chemically anomalous, blue-shifted light despite cooler temperature, stable orientation and potential maneuvering Coplanar trajectory, entering solar system like it belongs here. A fractal turn, seemingly in response to solar activity. And that's not even all. According to current modelling, it has lost up to 20% of its mass already, which is enormous, yet has shown no signs of fragmentation. How is that possible? Deep dive into December 19th. What we'll see, what instruments will capture it, and what happens if the object releases smaller fragments. A timeline breakdown of intercept possibilities, including March 2026's Juno flyby window. Why some experts believe this is an autonomous scientific probe, and others whisper it may be a decoy. Plus, is it connected to the WOW signal? This story is accelerating, and not just in speed. If this object was designed, we may soon get confirmation. If it's not, then we're facing one of the weirdest natural events in space history. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Part 3 will cover the upcoming closest approach and the big questions. Will it fragment? Will it deploy something? Will it simply disappear? Drop your theories in the comments. Is this just a comet? Or a probe hiding in plain sight? The answer still lies in the vastness of the stars. We've arrived at the critical moment. In less than 3 weeks, 3i Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth on December 19th, 2025. At just over 6 million kilometres away, that's less than 16 times the distance between Earth and the Moon. This is the closest we've ever been to an interstellar object. For comparison, 2i Borisov, the second interstellar comet, passed at about 300 million kilometres away. This is close, but what can we expect to see? On the evening of December 19th, observatories around the world will train their most powerful telescopes on the object. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope, ESA's VLT Arecibo Observatory, if operational, Japan's Subaru Telescope, Hawaii's Keck Observatory all will attempt high-resolution optical and infrared imaging. But the big question remains, what exactly are we looking for? Fragmentation. As 3i Atlas gets closer, it might begin to break apart, like Comet Ison did in 2013, when it disintegrated just before perihelion. If it starts to crumble, we may witness dramatic bursts of material. Jets activation. We may see new jets erupting from the core, especially if it has an internal energy source. This could be a sign that the object is actively recharging using the sun's radiation, or simply expelling gas due to heat. Smaller fragments. There's speculation that the object could deploy smaller objects, microsatellites, debris, or even other probes designed for Earth observation. No activity. Of course, there's also the possibility that 3i Atlas simply behaves like a typical comet, with no further surprises. But based on everything we've seen so far, the chances of that happening seem extremely low. If December 19th doesn't provide the answers we're hoping for, there's one more chance to study 3i Atlas in close proximity. On March 16, 2026, NASA's Juno mission will pass through a key window, allowing for another close-up observation of the object as it continues on its path out of the solar system. But why does this matter? Juno, currently orbiting Jupiter, will use its high-powered instruments to gather data on the object's composition, magnetic fields, and even radio emissions. This could give us new insights into whether 3i Atlas is a natural object or something much more sophisticated. Loeb, in his extraterrestrial book, proposed that Juno might be the ideal probe to intercept objects like 3i Atlas, especially if they are technological probes. Juno's trajectory is already in the right direction to observe interstellar objects as they pass through the solar system. Will Juno find anything that confirms or contradicts the idea that this object is a controlled spacecraft? We'll have to wait and see. So let's talk about one of the most controversial and intriguing possibilities. Is 3i Atlas a technological probe? This idea is gaining traction, especially after Dr. Avi Loeb's statement on November 7, 2025, that the object appears to be maneuvering. Loeb, a Harvard astrophysicist and founder of the Galileo Project, argues that the object's behavior defies natural explanations and suggests intelligent origin. Non-gravitational acceleration. The most compelling evidence for this theory is 3i Atlas's acceleration, at a force pushing it forward, yet no visible mass ejection or tail to account for it. Loeb suggests that this behavior could indicate propulsion systems similar to the ones we use in spacecraft, but far more advanced. Stable orientation and trajectory. The object doesn't tumble, it holds a consistent orientation, which is unusual for a natural comet. It also follows a near coplanar trajectory, matching the plane of the solar system planets, which some believe might indicate navigation. Symmetrical jets. The 7 jets emanating from 3I Atlas are too perfectly aligned to be natural. Some scientists suggest these could be the exhaust of reaction engines, further supporting the notion that this object is an active engineered structure. Size and material composition. The object's nickel-rich composition and lack of volatile gases make it more akin to an asteroid than a comet. If it were a spacecraft, this could be its outer shell, possibly designed to withstand extreme space conditions. This theory has been met with resistance in the scientific community. Some dismiss it as far-fetched, while others, like Loeb, argue that we need to be open to all possibilities. It's hard to deny that 3I Atlas exhibits some behaviour that no known natural object has ever shown. Remember the WOW signal? The mysterious radio signal detected by SETI in 1977, which was never explained and is still one of the most famous unexplained signals from space. Coincidentally, 3I Atlas entered the solar system just 9 degrees away from the WOW signal's origin point in the constellation Sagittarius. Could there be a connection? Some fringe theorists are suggesting that 3I Atlas might not be just a probe. It could be a signal transmission relay. Perhaps the object is broadcasting signals or is connected to an extraterrestrial intelligence that we've been receiving signals from for decades. While this remains speculative, it's an intriguing possibility. Could 3I Atlas be a messenger, delivering information or awaiting instructions from its creators? And if this theory holds any weight, what might be the implications for humanity? What if the WOW signal wasn't a one-time event, but part of a larger interstellar communication network? If we discover that 3I Atlas is tied to extraterrestrial activity, it could change our entire perspective on life beyond Earth. As we approach December 19th, the pressure is mounting on NASA to release more data. The lack of transparency has drawn criticism from Congress and the public alike. What's particularly strange is that NASA's HiRISE camera aboard the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter had the best view of 3I Atlas during its perihelion flyby. Yet the high-resolution images remain classified. Why the delay? NASA's usual protocol for interstellar objects is to release information quickly to the public. But with 3I Atlas, things are different. Some speculate that the object is so anomalous that its classification could be related to the potential national security implications of what it might reveal. Could we be looking at something beyond a natural phenomenon? Could 3I Atlas be an alien probe and that's why NASA is holding back? As of today, we don't have all the answers, but the tension is palpable. So here we are, just weeks away from December 19th. What will we discover when 3I Atlas makes its closest approach to Earth? Could it be just a comet, a metallic asteroid, or, as some have suggested, a controlled spacecraft? The answer to that question will shape our understanding of the universe, our place in it, and whether we are truly alone. Stay tuned for our next update, where we will cover the live reactions to the December 19th flyby, the results from the global observatories, and, most importantly, the confirmation or debunking of the most radical theories about 3I Atlas. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for the latest updates. We'll be watching together as this cosmic mystery unfolds, and we'll be here when the answers finally arrive. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think 3I Atlas is natural or something more? Could this be the first sign of extraterrestrial technology in our solar system? As we approach the closest encounter of 3I Atlas with Earth on December 19th, 2025, the scientific community is on edge. Observatories around the world will be prepared to capture this event in unprecedented detail, but the implications of what they discover could be truly groundbreaking. We've seen strange behaviour from this object. Unexplainable acceleration, mysterious jets, a blue glow when it should be red or infrared, a composition that's anything but ordinary. Nickel-rich, low iron, and comet-like in shape, but without any of the usual behaviours expected from a comet. But we've also seen a disturbing lack of transparency from agencies like NASA, whose refusal to release high-resolution images has fueled the growing suspicion that there's more to 3I Atlas than meets the eye. So what happens if the object does not fragment and continues its trajectory? What does this mean for the future of space exploration? If it's a technological probe, then 3i Atlas could be the first direct evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence we've ever encountered. If it's not a probe, it could represent a new class of cosmic objects we have never seen before, objects that defy all the physics we know. As the flyby approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. Will we get the data we need to finally crack this mystery, or will we be left with more questions than answers? While December 19th is crucial, March 16th, 2026, may prove even more pivotal. That's when NASA's Juno mission, currently orbiting Jupiter, will pass through a unique window to observe 3i Atlas once again. Juno, designed to study Jupiter and its moons, is well equipped to examine interstellar objects in detail, using its WMDT high-powered instruments to gather data on the object's composition, magnetic field, and possible radio emissions. But here's the kicker. If 3i Atlas is, as some scientists suspect, a technological probe, then Juno's instruments could detect electromagnetic signals or even radio waves, something entirely outside of what we've observed from previous objects. What happens in March 2026 could change everything. If Juno picks up anything unusual, we'll have more than just physical data. We'll have direct evidence of a technological source, and the implications of that are unimaginable. We could be looking at the first proof of extraterrestrial technology in our solar system. Now let's talk about the theories that have been circulating in the scientific community. Some say 3i Atlas is a probe, a spacecraft sent from an advanced civilization on a mission to study our solar system. But what if it's something else? What if it's not a probe at all, but a decoy? Here's the theory. If 3i Atlas is a probe, it could be designed to gather data from our solar system and send it back to its creators. However, some scientists are starting to think that this object could be something designed to be noticed, a decoy deliberately placed for us to find. Maybe it's part of a larger interstellar communication network. After all, 3i Atlas isn't just passing through. It's behaving in ways that make us take notice. Its jet-like structures, non-gravitational acceleration, and blue glow all seem to scream, "Look at me." Is it possible that 3i Atlas is not the only object of its kind? Could there be others, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves? One thing is for sure, the more we learn about 3i Atlas, the more we realise that we might not be alone in the universe after all. Let's take a step back for a moment. There's something else that makes 3i Atlas especially unsettling, the fact that it's located so close to the origin point of the WOW signal. In 1977, a mysterious radio signal was detected by SETI. It lasted for 72 seconds, and no one has ever been able to explain it. Could it be a coincidence that 3i Atlas is passing through the same region of space? Some researchers have suggested that the two events, the WOW signal and 3i Atlas's arrival, could be linked. Could the object be transmitting information, perhaps even acting as a signal relay for some larger interstellar communication network? If 3i Atlas is somehow related to the WOW signal, it could mean that we're not just dealing with an object passing through our solar system. We could be dealing with the first real evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence. As the world watches in anticipation, the closest approach of 3i Atlas will mark a turning point in our understanding of the universe. But the questions won't stop there. On December 19th, we will finally get a chance to look at the object up close. And while the images and data from that day could provide the answers we've been waiting for, it's just the beginning. In 2026, the Juno mission will offer more opportunities to study 3i Atlas as it exits the solar system. But what we find and how we interpret that data could be the catalyst for a new era in space exploration. Will we confirm that 3i Atlas is a probe? Will it fragment and release something unexpected? Or could it simply fade into the void, leaving us with more questions than answers? The mystery of 3i Atlas is far from over. As we reach the end of this investigation, the biggest question remains, what is 3i Atlas? Is it a comet, a probe, or something else entirely? The evidence is building, and we'll be keeping a close eye on December 19th. But no matter what happens, one thing is certain. This is just the beginning. As we continue to monitor 3i Atlas and the next interstellar objects that come our way, the possibility that we're not alone in the universe is becoming harder to ignore. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for follow-up videos as we explore the next stages of this mystery. What will we discover on December 19th? Will it fragment, or will we unlock the secret of its true nature? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think 3i Atlas is a probe, or just a natural object? Could it be connected to the WOW signal? And what do you think we'll find as we get closer to 2026? I'll be reading all your comments. So share your theories and let's keep this conversation going.